If someone eats a pretty normal modern diet, what is fiber actually doing that makes it worth tracking? People here eat more roughage, but that sounds like a bathroom tip, not a cardiometabolic strategy. Why does this one neglected part of plants show up in conversations about digestion, cholesterol, blood sugar, and feeling full?
The first upgrade is to stop picturing fiber as one substance. Insoluble fibers add structure and help move stool. Soluble fibers can hold water and form gels. Some fibers are fermentable, so gut microbes metabolize them into compounds, such as short-chain fatty acids. That is why the same food can affect stool, appetite, glucose curves, and cholesterol through different routes. And that variety matters because the source matters. Oats, beans, fruit, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and intact whole grains bring fiber with water, minerals, protein, and plant compounds. A refined starch can be complex chemically and still act fast if most of the original structure and fiber are gone.
So the most immediate benefit is still bathroom-related, right? If someone is constipated or inconsistent, is fiber mainly acting like a broom, or is that too crude? I want the practical version. What changes in the stool, and why do fluids keep coming up in the same sentence? When people say soluble fiber slows digestion, what is the body-level picture? Is it literally making a gel in the gut? And does that help explain why whole oats or beans can feel different from a low-fiber cereal even when both are carbohydrate foods?
Exactly. Harvard's carbohydrate explanation is useful here. Digestible carbohydrate becomes blood sugar. Insulin helps cells absorb it, and food structure affects the rate. Low-fiber white bread is digested rapidly and can cause larger fluctuations. Fiber-rich foods, like whole oats, tend to digest more slowly, which matters most for people watching post-meal glucose or insulin resistance risk.
But if someone hears this and doubles their beans tomorrow, that can backfire, yes? What is the responsible ramp-up? I have seen people quit fiber because they try to go from almost none to huge salads, lentils, and bran cereal in one heroic weekend.
The cholesterol story is also mechanical and metabolic, not mystical. Some soluble fibers can influence how bile acids and cholesterol are handled in the gut. The realistic promise is support for LDL cholesterol as part of an overall dietary pattern, not replacing prescribed lipid therapy when someone already needs it.
What about fullness? Is fiber itself an appetite suppressant, or is the better explanation that fiber-rich foods are harder to overeat because they bring volume, chewing, water, and slower digestion? That difference matters, because nobody wants another fake weight loss shortcut.
That is the better framing. Then, farther down, fermentable fibers reach the colon. Microbes can use them and produce short-chain fatty acids. Reviews describe prebiotic fibers as substrates used by host microorganisms with a health benefit, but that does not mean every product labeled prebiotic has proven the same outcome in the same person. One recent controlled crossover feeding study gave a good food pattern clue. Men at cardiometabolic risk ate a more plant protein flexitarian diet versus a more animal-based controlled diet for 4 weeks. Diversity did not transform, but microbial taxa and tryptophan-related metabolites shifted, possibly driven by higher fiber intake, especially from legumes.
Who should not just copy a generic high-fiber plan. I am thinking about people with inflammatory bowel disease flares, strictures, severe IBS symptoms, recent bowel surgery, or medication schedules. Where does the advice shift from eat more plants to please individualize this with a clinician or a dietitian?
For most people, the Food First playbook is boring in the best way. Add fruit at breakfast, vegetables at lunch and dinner, beans or lentils several times a week. Choose intact whole grains more often and use nuts or seeds as small add-ons. The goal is consistency, not a single heroic fiber day followed by avoidance.
How should someone judge whether fiber is helping without turning meals into a lab experiment? Are we looking for easier stools, fewer snack crashes, better fullness, improved LDL or glucose markers over time, or all of those depending on the person's starting point?
All of those can be reasonable signals, but supplements deserve humility. A 2025 randomized trial added a slowly fermentable potato fiber and sugar beet pectin mixture to a high-protein diet in adults with overweight or obesity. Compared with placebo, insulin sensitivity worsened and gut permeability and interleukin-6 increased. That does not condemn fiber. It warns against assuming every isolated fiber in every diet context is beneficial.
If someone does use a fiber powder, what is the cautious version? Should they separate it from medications, start with less than the label's full serving, and stop treating natural as a guarantee? Also, when symptoms get worse instead of better, that is not a moral failure, right?
Right? The durable takeaway is food first, gradual, varied, and matched to your baseline. If your diet is low in plants, fiber is one of the highest yield targets. Better stool mechanics, slower carbohydrate delivery, possible LDL support, more fullness, and microbial fermentation. But the winning move is not chasing the strongest powder. It is making beans, oats produce, whole grains, nuts, and seeds normal enough to repeat.